to operate as the moderator, and I feel like I'm in front of my Spanish class. And students always want to know first, what are we doing today? So very briefly, okay, as slow as I can. We are here, first of all, to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the original signing of the Sister City Agreement between Merida, Yucatan, and Sarasota, Florida, that took place in Sarasota on the iconic grounds of the Ringling Museum in December of 2010. That's what we're celebrating. And of course, during this COVID-19 that we unfortunately all are putting up with, we are doing this by Zoom conference. So we want to first introduce each person briefly. Then we will have two videos, one of Sarasota, one of Merida. They're about 3 minutes each. We then will hear from Tony Duval, president of Sarasota Sister Cities, and our Consul General, Courtney Beale, and Chief Officer of the United States Consulate in Merida. Then we will continue with the actual official signing that Mayor Barrera and Mayor Brody will both do, and official photos will be taken. And then finally, to end up, each mayor will speak. Renan Barrera will speak first, and then Hagen Brody will finish up. And that is kind of a summary of what we're doing. So let me just go back and introduce everyone. Just wave your hand when I give your name so we know who is who. So we've already, I think, know Hagen Brody, Sarasota Mayor. Licenciado Renan Alberto Barrera Concha. I love pronouncing Spanish, R por R, all right? The illustrious mayor of the city, our beloved city, sister city of Merida. And also it's a great pleasure that our Consul General, Courtney Beale, and Chief Officer of the United States Consulate in Merida, and I must say, they are just starting to build a new consulate, which I'm sure they're going to make mention, $150 million. So that is a big event for Merida, and I am going to be there along with Grisel when that's finished. Okay, then we have Elizabeth Dowd, who's the curadora, the curator. Elizabeth is bilingual also, spent many years in Miami, and she is now, we are fortunate to have her as the curator of performing arts at the Ringling. And then finally, the three officials from Merida Mayor's Office. We have Dr. Eduardo Cejo Solis, who is the Director of Economic Development and Tourism. We also have anthropologist Irvine Berlin Villapaña, Director of Culture. And finally, my good friend from last December, anthropologist Julio Sama Castillo, Secretary of Citizen Participation, or as we like to say in English, outreach, all right? Also, I put this out of my special assistant, Grisel Gamboa Aleman. I meant to put her in with the people from Sarasota, but Grisel has absolutely during the past year been my biggest support and help. Grisel is a dual citizen of Mexico and the United States. She grew up her teenage years till adult in Merida, and her mother lives in Merida, and we are just so fortunate to have her, and we can see how our sister cities have more and more bilingual people, and we are so happy for this. So to begin this morning's program, we have a short video to show all of you on Merida and, excuse me, on Sarasota and then Merida. So I turned it over to the engineers.
What do sister cities mean to me?
Merida, Mexico.
It means citizen diplomats.
Xiamen, China.
It means meeting people, developing relationships in lands, not just as tourists, but as people that get to know each other.
Telman, Israel.
I get inspiration by the people around me.
Treviso, Italy.
Sister City draws a unique group of people who are interested in making changes in the world and bring their expertise forward to make it happen.
Vladimir, Russia.
What inspires me most about Sister Cities, I think it's probably the planning of a visitation from the Sister Cities or planning of a visit to Sister Cities to enhance understanding and respect of each other.
Perpignan, France.
What's my best experience with Sister Cities? It was in Perpignan, France. We were invited to help dedicate a cultural center called the Archipelago. And there we were at the front of the auditorium with the cultural and political leaders of France. That was magnificent.
Dunfermline, Scotland.
I see the future of Sarasota Sister Cities
Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
working with our other sister cities to create collaborative efforts, whether it be in business, arts, culture, so that all of us become a real family, not just on a one-on-one relationship.
What does Sister Cities mean to me? It means people and culture. And also it gives me the chance to tell others about our great city, Sarasota.
Now we will have a video of Merida.
Dicen que un astro marcó su destino, convirtiéndolo en el origen del todo. Un lugar incrustado de fragmentos de estrella, donde el agua de sus costas, cenotes y ríos subterráneos fluye en abundancia, uniendo al pasado con el presente. Una ciudad que surge del resplandor de la cultura maya. Una civilización avanzada en el tiempo. Creadores de centros ceremoniales, grandes aportaciones astronómicas e inventores del cero. Una ciudad que recibe y abraza diferentes culturas, donde las tradiciones se mantienen vivas y la sabiduría ancestral toma nuevas formas. Manos que forjan un pueblo orgulloso y trabajador. Esto es Mérida. Haciendas y edificios coloniales que nos narran la historia del lugar. Un legado vivo sobre la transformación de su gente. Una ciudad que te lleva a sus raíces, a lo más profundo, a descubrir una sazón única, donde múltiples costumbres se entrelazan y nuevos sabores surgen. Mérida, que con su música, su trova y su baile, te llama, te inspira y emociona. Mérida te conecta a la naturaleza. Te envuelve, te impulsa y te invita a relajarte. A vivir sin prisas. Una ciudad con brillo propio, que ha sabido destacar ante los ojos del mundo. Con una ubicación privilegiada, que aprovecha sus ventajas y fortalece su infraestructura para un futuro de bienestar social. con gente noble que te hará sentir en casa y un nivel de vida incomparable. Está escrito en las estrellas. Mérida, tu próximo destino.
Well, I think Merida's video just won an award, all right? And I think we need to update our own. Tenemos que actualizar el video de Sarasota, right, Mayor Brody? I think we need to update ours a little bit. Anyway, thank you for doing both those videos. Now we are going to hear from two people, two of our officials. First, Tony Duval, president of the Sarasota Sister Cities Association, and then from our Consul General, Courtney Beal. So Tony, I give you the floor.
Thanks, Mike. A couple of things. I wasn't introduced at first, so I just want a couple of seconds I was muted, so I couldn't holler back at you. As Mike said, I'm president of the Sister Cities Association of Sarasota and proud to be so. This is my second year, more like 5 years if you include COVID. And so I applaud the work that everyone has been doing to keep us connected over this past year. A couple of notes in the video you saw about our association. We now have 2 more sister cities. They're actually in the friendship stage, as Merida was at one time. Busseto, Italy, the home of Giuseppe Verdi, and Rapperswil Jona on Lake Zurich in Switzerland. So I would be remiss not to include them in my talk here, and welcome. And also it mentioned Hamilton, Ontario, which is an example of a city that is in emeritus status. And so our relationship with Merida is certainly more vibrant and alive, and I'm happy to talk about that. Okay, my official words. It is my honor as president to commemorate with you this important milestone in the sister city relationship between our 2 cities. It's been 10 years, 120 months, 521 weeks, and even more days, and a lot has changed over the decade. But throughout the time, our citizen diplomats in both Merida and Sarasota have created a relationship based on mutual trust, friendship, and shared values. Our compassion and cooperation have laid a sound foundation for our path together, and we are united by friendship. I'd like to thank both mayors and the other government officials for their continued support of our sister cities' mission to build bridges of peace and understanding, one exchange at a time. I'm not sure if you know this, but Mayor Brody has alluded to earlier, he is new to his position, so I especially want to send a thank you to him for all of his efforts to become involved. And this is, as it is my first official mayor to mayor, sister city to sister city event, it is also his. And so I just want to thank him for that. I also would be remiss if I did not thank Mike and Grizel for their coordination and your counterparts on the other side. This is exactly what I try to explain to people, is people to people connection, how we've made this work, and very successfully, and I applaud your efforts. I look forward to more and more exchanges over the next decade, and just want to welcome everyone to today's event. Thank you.
And Thank you, Tony. You've made some great comments, which are really important, especially that we're doing this as a Zoom. I can say this is the first Sister City Zoom conference that we have had internationally. So we applaud you and everyone who's involved in this. I just cannot tell you how important an event. I hope this is being recorded, and the fact that Mayor Brody on our end and Mayor Barrera are such an important part. And the next person to speak will give it an international flavor, a global person who has been all over the world, our own Courtney Bale, Consul General. So I turn it over to her.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be with you all, and congratulations on 10 years of a fruitful Sister Cities relationship. I'd like to thank Mayor Brody from Sarasota and Mayor Barrera from Merida for being with us today. Estuvimos juntos con el presidente municipal Barrera en la celebración del inicio de construcción del nuevo consulado aquí en Mérida el viernes pasado, y siempre es un gusto verlo. I'd also like to thank Dr. Sejo and anthropologist Berling for being here with us. Gracias por todo su apoyo para el consulado y la relación con los Estados Unidos. So it's great to have a chance to talk with you all. And I'd like to give a special thanks and shout out to Mike and Grisel for their dedication to this Sister Cities relationship. And from the first time that I met Mike through the last meeting when I got to meet Grisel, I've always been so impressed with their passion for this relationship and this project, and how they've kept this relationship alive and growing, not only for the last 10 years, but even through the pandemic. So we clearly have in common a love for this incredible city of Merida that I am so fortunate to call home. And there are two of the Americans I know who just love and adore Merida as much as I do. And sister cities are really one of my favorite examples of citizen diplomacy and the power of citizen diplomacy. All of my fellow Americans from Sarasota are really model citizen ambassadors for the United States. And we're really fortunate to have all of your support and the time and passion that you put into this relationship. You all build the people-to-people relationships that form the foundation for the US-Mexico bilateral relationship. And you promote the mutual understanding through business, arts, and culture that's so important, especially for a neighbor and a friend like Mexico, as one of our most important partners anywhere around the world. And that relationship that we have is clearly growing. We now have about 9 million Americans before the pandemic that visit or live in the peninsula each year. And demand for visas at our consulate in Merida continues to rise, even during the pandemic. So really, there are countless ways that we cooperate and deepen the relationship on our economic ties, the security relationship, educational exchanges, and cultural programs. All of which is why, as Mike said, we have begun to build a new and larger and more modern consulate here in Merida. And we're looking forward to having this new consulate complete in 2023. To not only be able to provide services to American citizens that are here, and to be able to facilitate more people-to-people travel through our visa services, but also to be able to host groups like you in our new consulate. We're going to have an art gallery and other common spaces that will allow us to hopefully host more events and be able to do meetings like this in person when the pandemic goes away and we're able to do that again. So I hope this Sister Cities relationship continues to grow with the bilateral relationship as it has been. And I'm excited to see what you all will accomplish in the next 10 years, and count on the consulate to support all of your efforts. Thank you.
And thank you. so much for your support over the years, for you and for the previous consul generals. We have had great relationships, especially when we brought our students down. So we want to thank you and your predecessors. So now we move on to the next step, which is the signature. At each mayor will now sign the document in front of them, which is the ratification to the original agreement, just updating our relationship. So if each mayor would do that now. And I believe someone is, yes, if you could hold yours up. Okay, thank you, Mayor Barrera. And Mayor Brody, if you could hold that up, wonderful. And we will exchange those in the future. Okay, now we come to the most important part. Each mayor is going to give his message, and we will start with Licenciado Hernán Alberto Barrera Concha. Siga, por favor. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Pues primero es un gusto poder compartir con ustedes este momento tan significativo para nuestra ciudad y por supuesto para consolidar esta hermandad que se está ratificando el día de hoy. Saludo con mucho afecto y mucho respeto al alcalde de Sarasota, Florida, a Hagen Brody. Muchas gracias por tu confianza y por la oportunidad de estar de nuevo juntos. A Courtney Bell, que es una gran aliada de los yucatecos y además hoy está aportando especialmente una vestimenta muy bonita de aquí, de nuestras manos artesanas. Gracias, Courtney, cónsul general y oficial principal de los Estados Unidos en Mérida, quien siempre ha sido un apoyo muy importante para la ciudad. A Tony Duval, presidenta de la Asociación de Ciudades Hermanas de Sarasota, Florida, muchas gracias por siempre crear estos puentes y estos vínculos que buscan pues, seguir teniendo esta relación tan estrecha. A Mike Bailey, director de la Asociación de Ciudades Hermanas de Sarasota en capítulo Mérida, muchas gracias también por esta conducción extraordinaria del evento y te esperamos pronto también por acá. A Grisel Gamboa Alemán, asistente de la Dirección de Asociación de las Ciudades Hermanas, muchas gracias, Grisel, pues eres parte yucateca también, así que seguiremos muy pendientes. A los directores del Ayuntamiento, Eduardo Seijo, Irving Berlín Villafaña y Julio Sauma, que son director de Desarrollo Económico, de Cultura y secretario de Participación Ciudadana, respectivamente. Y bueno, pues el hermanamiento de dos ciudades se puede sintetizar en dos palabras, que son para mí amistad e intercambio. Con esta ratificación del hermanamiento buscamos un intercambio solidario y beneficioso entre ambas ciudades que redunde en una mayor promoción turística, en información, en exhibición de artesanías y de productos, intercambio de información de comercio, de profesionales, así como también el apoyo al comercio exterior. En pocas palabras, es una colaboración mutua entre nuestras ciudades. Contar con una ciudad hermana siempre ha sido una decisión importante y es muy grata y una gran responsabilidad porque se fomenta el espíritu de colaboración, el espíritu de trabajo, de empatía y profesionalismo, en donde los beneficios para cada una de las ciudades hermanadas son grandes. Nuestra Mérida se caracteriza por su paz social, por su cultura y sobre todo por ser una ciudad con una buena calidad de vida, como así lo reconoce el Índice de Competitividad Urbana 2020 del Instituto Mexicano para la Competitividad, que recientemente posicionó a Mérida a nivel nacional entre las 3 mejores ciudades grandes, con más de 1 millón de habitantes, para poder invertir. Además, el ayuntamiento recibió sendos reconocimientos por acciones de movilidad saludable en el centro histórico y por el proyecto Diseño Participativo de Espacios Públicos, otorgado por la Asociación Nacional de Alcaldes. Pero hablar de Mérida es también hablar de su comida, de su gastronomía tan extensa, la cual meritoriamente nos integró desde octubre del año pasado a un selecto grupo de ciudades de índole nacional e internacional reconocidas por la UNESCO a través de la red de ciudades creativas que basan su desarrollo precisamente en esa innovación que cuidadosamente aprovechada a través de políticas públicas sustentadas en la música, la artesanía, las artes populares, el cine, el diseño, artes digitales, la literatura y la gastronomía. Podemos decir con orgullo que estas son las principales razones por las que nuestra ciudad conserva una privilegiada referencia entre nuestras dos naciones, que sabemos tienen una común la responsabilidad y dedicación de sus ciudadanos para conservar esta vecindad y hermandad que nos permite consolidar acuerdos para crecer juntos en trabajo colaborativo. Hace unos días, como bien decía nuestra cónsul general, fuimos testigos del inicio de la construcción del nuevo consulado de los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica en nuestra ciudad de Mérida, donde celebramos la permanencia consular estadounidense en suelo yucateco, pero ya que significa inversión y trabajo para nuestra ciudad, pero lo más importante y sobre todo porque nos reitera la relevancia que Mérida tiene en el plano internacional para los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica y su movimiento migratorio para con México en las entidades que conforman el sur del país, como lo son Tabasco, Campeche, Quintana Roo y Yucatán. Esta confianza y preferencia de nuestros amigos de Norteamérica por venir de paseo, por hacer negocios o vivir en esta región de nuestro país, que es la más segura de todo México, por todo lo que la ciudad como Mérida ofrece, atractivos turísticos, la seguridad para sus familias, excelente calidad de vida, y así lo demuestran los más de 2.022 ciudadanos estadounidenses que radican en nuestra ciudad. 1.113 mujeres, afortunadamente mayoría, y 909 varones, hombres, de los cuales 1.338 tienen una condición migratoria de tarjeta de residente permanente. Por eso es tan importante esta ratificación de hermandad con Sarasota, Florida, la cual sienta las bases para trabajar muy de cerca en temas de comercio, de cultura, de turismo, de desarrollo gubernamental, de educación, de medio ambiente, de gastronomía, con el objetivo de intercambiar experiencias que contribuyan al desarrollo de nuestras ciudades. Les quiero manifestar mi más amplio reconocimiento al alcalde Hagen Brody por los trabajos en conjunto en la ratificación de estos acuerdos, de los que estamos ciertos darán como resultado beneficios bilaterales a nuestras ciudades. Sin duda, la Mérida de 10 que anhelamos se enriquece con la visión y con la experiencia de nuestras ciudades hermanas que fomentan entre sus habitantes, los aquí nacidos y los que eligen para hacerla su hogar, los valores de inclusión, solidaridad y bien común para dar como resultado una ciudad que enaltece el tejido social que diariamente construimos todas y todos. Muchas felicidades a Sarasota y felicidades a todos ustedes por este gran equipo de trabajo que hoy nos une más cerca y nos está acercando hacia los valores que compartimos en nuestras ciudades. Muchas gracias y muy buenos días.
Gracias a usted. Now we will hear from Mayor Brody. We will turn it over to you, and he will be the final speaker of the day. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, it is, let me see here, I'll get my, truly an honor to take part in this and to virtually meet everyone here. You know, our country's relationship is so special and so, I think, unique and important. You know, I'm just really honored to be a part of this. I grew up here in Sarasota, Florida, but I've traveled around the country, and I lived in Southern California for a while. You know, we have a lot of folks in our community, in our country, that have either Mexican heritage or are from Mexico. And I just can't tell you how much they contribute to our culture and our experience here in the States, across the country. And I know that from my own personal experience. I have always had a fondness and really a appreciation for Mexican culture and the values that my friends and acquaintances over the years have influenced on me, and I've got to learn about. And so, you know, I really cherish and value those memories and the people that I've met. And I personally have been to Mexico, let's see, I guess just once, but you know, I hope to come again, and really I would love to visit Merida and see for myself all the great things you have going on over there. So one of the things I wanted to do is I did want to read our proclamation, if that's okay, or our agreement, because I think it contains a lot of great information. And for those that watch and view this later, I think it's great for them to hear as well. So the municipality of Merida in the state of Yucatan of the United Mexican states, through its licensed municipal president, Renan Alberto Barrera Concha, and the city of Sarasota and the state of Florida, United States of America, through its mayor, Hagan Brody, state the following: that we are willing to continue the bonds of friendship and cooperation that bind the two parties, under which international cooperation is one of the factors that has a favorable impact on the solution of problems affecting their respective communities. So by this instrument, they ratify the sister city agreement signed in the city of Sarasota in the state of Florida of the United States of America on December 10th, 2010, and ratified in the city of Merida, Yucatan of the United Mexican States on February 24th, 2016. This agreement aims to promote agreements and understanding between both parties and the institutions in their respective territories in order to intensify common efforts and promote the exchange of experiences and implementation of joint activities. In this way, the municipality of Merida in the state of Yucatan of the United Mexican States and the city of Sarasota in the state of Florida of the United States of America will continue to collaborate in the development of cooperation actions, especially directed to, but not limited to, the areas of commerce, culture, tourism, government development, education, environment, gastronomy, as well as many other areas of cooperation that the parties agree, incorporating virtual modalities as an alternative to the realization of the actions that come from this agreement. The above in the terms established in the aforementioned Twining Agreement signed in the city of Sarasota and the state of Florida of the United States of America on December 10th, 2010. Signed, and it's also signed in the city of Merida, Yucatan of the United Mexican States on December 9th, 2020. And so that was absolutely my honor to recognize this 10th anniversary of this agreement. I think that it is vital and important as neighboring countries and communities. We obviously have so much more in common than we have differences, and I look forward to continuing this relationship between our sister city, Merida, my counterpart, Mayor Barrera, and look forward to keeping this conversation going. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, very much. So I don't believe it, but we went 1 minute over. I was given till, I'm looking here, end of meeting, fin de la reunión, 12:04. So I get a slap on the hand for being 1 minute late.
Can we take a group picture, like a, do you mind if we all?
Sí, claro, por supuesto.
Yes, we want to, yes. Can we get a group picture for everyone? Everyone has to be quiet. How do we?
I can just take a screenshot, I guess, and send it around or whatever, either.
Oh, I have this. I got to, if you put it on gallery, if you tiene que ponerlo en galería, ¿no? I got mine.
I'm just gonna, let's see if I can take a screenshot here.
And I did it. Well,
All right, let's try to get everybody to smile for just a second.
all right.
3, 2, 1. And then 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
All right. So we want to thank everyone today for all of the attendees for participating. We want to thank the engineering people. And I am so impressed again with all of you attending. And like I said, this is a first. This is the first time that we have had the Zoom conference of any city internationally. This is just great. And I think other cities will use it as a modelo, no? As an example for us. This is, I just can't say enough. Mayor Brody, what do you think?
I think it's great. I'm seeing Miss Tony Duvall. I just want to thank her for all her efforts and for, you know, really making this Sister Cities program special for us. And I think she had her hand up and wanted to say something as well.
Your mute's on, Tony. There you go.
I just wanted to say on that regard that we have been working hard to up our virtual game. But what I mean by that is to have a coordinated agenda and more than one person responsible for parts of the virtual event that we have never had to do before. And to follow on what you said, Mike, this is an excellent example and model that we will be following for all of our events, virtual events, and especially our city to city exchange communication. So bravo to everybody there for that. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And if anybody took one of those screenshots of us, I had a little trouble doing it. If you don't mind emailing it to me, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I took a couple.
I did also.
And then, all right, so we're good. We'll get a copy of this recording from the engineer. If anyone else has something to say, please say it now.
I wanted to say, of course, thanks to everybody, and very briefly to say that Sarasota will be participating in our handcraft festival, the Tunich Festival, starting on December 13th for 1 week. So it's also a virtual participation, but the first time Sarasota is going to expose in this show. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
All right.
Thank you.
Excelente. Pues muchas gracias a todas y a todos. Ha sido un placer. Que tengan un excelente día y espero muy pronto que nos podamos abrazar como hacíamos con anterioridad. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Gracias.
Bye-bye.
Abrazos.